Welcome in, dear people. So you want to know what are those three things, right? Sudo is, well, it's awesome. Let me show it to you. Here we go. So the other than the most obvious usage of sudo, which is executing any command as a super user, which of course all of you already know, one of the other cool things is refreshing the timer on the cached password. You may have known about this, you may have not, but if you do something as a sudo, for example, sudo update, and it will ask you for the password. You type your password, it will do the thing with the super user privileges, yes, but after a couple of minutes, whatever is configured by default, usually 5 minutes, you're going to run another sudo command with another command that you need to be elevated, and it will ask you for your password again. In the meantime, you have been thinking about your next move, and by your next move, I mean you're contemplating something, you're reading the documentation, doing something in the background, foreground, whatnot. So you don't really type any commands in the command line and your timer is ticking. So you can just type sudo -v to validate your session, which will basically refresh your timer. So after typing this command doesn't do anything. It just refreshes your session with sudo. So now you have your 5 minutes once again. And if you type it again, now we have your 5 minutes once again. So you can increase your timer indefinitely, like reset it, reset it, reset it. One of the common things that people do is they execute a lot of commands as root. So usually you would just type su and you will log in as root. In this case, you would not execute the entire session of the root. So people just add the dash on the su. So it becomes su minus, which basically gives you a root access. But if root access is disabled on your system, which a lot of modern Linux distributions do by default, then you cannot really log in as root. So if I type su minus on my Debian system and I type my correct root password, it will tell me, no, 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 no. You cannot do that because it's locked out. So the only way you can do this is you can do sudo-s. So this means you're going to execute the shell of the user. If you don't type which user it is, then it is going to be root. So sudo-s gives you root shell. However, it will not execute the entire shell like you have logged in as a new guy. This you will do with sudo-i. This basically does the same, but not really. If you noticed, when I did sudo-s, it said that I am in the home Dart folder, which is the same as the tilde dollar previously. This means that I have only done something that would be compared to su command. However, su minus command can be compared with sudo-i, which basically logins as root user into the root shell, but also it executes everything that usually the root user executes when logging in as for the first time. Starting your bash RC file or your other shell RC file, whatever, right? So it's collecting all of your environment and you're now really root. For example, if root is using a different shell, it's going to execute everything. So you are truly freshly logged in as root. This is really useful for me. I always use sudo-i as the primary way into becoming root for a short session when I need to execute multiple commands in a row as root. So I don't really want to bother with the basically with the executing sudo each and every time. And by far my most favorite sudo command is, you see, when you for example want to upgrade your Debian system, you type apt full upgrade, and oh my, you're not root. So what are you going to do now? Usually you would type the up arrow, which will repeat your last command. Then you would go to the beginning of the row, either by typing your left arrow multiple times or just by pressing the home button on your keyboard, uh, and then adding the word sudo in front of that sentence and then executing it again. However, there is an easier way, a much cooler way to add sudo to the very last command that you tried to execute but failed, which is sudo exclamation mark twice. And now you press enter, and voila, we are now upgrading our system. So what this command does is basically it repeats the last typed command in shell, but adding sudo in front. So you only need to type sudo exclamation mark exclamation mark. So let's press enter to update our Debian system. And we are done for today. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you in the next one.